Hi guys. So today I want to introduce you to my friend Noah and
Daedalus, or D for short.
and he is an apprentice falconer.
Yeah.
And he's going to tell you a lot about falconry and a lot more than I know, but it's such interesting stuff I wanted to share it with you.
Well, I caught Daedalus last September. Don't really know how to intro this. He's an eastern male, eastern red tail I should say, tiercel male. He's just now hitting about a year old, and he's ready to go right now. He really wants to fly, so I'm going to let him fly. His weight's low, so he's keen.
Oh, you funny bird.
Although that's not where I want him to go. Yeah, I mean, so we can start with questions whenever you want.
So what does it take for you to actually have your own bird?
Well, the process is tedious and somewhat long. You do have to be a licensed hunter. That's step one. You know, hunter safety course online, and then you got to go in person, take the written test.
So is that a regular hunter safety course
Yep.
that people use for guns and
Yep.
other things too?
Yep, because it's still hunting.
It's still almost
same,
like a weapon.
Same regulations, same season, everything. Yes, and he is a weapon. He's my only weapon. I find that it's a lot easier to get permission to hunt on private property with a bird and a firearm. And you approach people and you're like, oh, can I hunt your land? Generally speaking, they're like, no, unless they themselves are avid hunters. But when you have a hawk, their interest is a little more piqued, it's less dangerous. So yeah, that's step one. Step two, find a sponsor. You have to have a legal representative for a period of 2 years.
And is that based on the state you're in, or is that federal?
That's federal.
That's
That's federal. State regulations are all different, though. Every state is different as to what birds you can have and care for, and the process of how long you can fly your bird, the hunting season, the game available to you. Those are all factors.
And so how old was he when you first got him?
Hard to say. He's an early trap bird. I caught him mid-September. I would guess when I got him, he was about 4, maybe 5 months old. So he's about a year now, getting there.
And how much would you say he weighs?
Today, I know exactly how much he weighs. Today when I weighed him, he was at 30.2 ounces, and that's a good flying weight for him. When I'm not flying him, I'll bump that all the way up to 35, 36, 37 ounces, depending. But if I want to hunt him, I'll bring him out around 30, 31.
Make him hungry.
Yeah, make him hungry. Not too hungry, because if you drop their weight too low, they lack energy and they can't fly. Well, they can fly, but they'll be slow and sluggish and have a harder time catching prey. If they're too heavy, they'll be fat and lazy and won't want to catch prey. So you got to find that happy middle point where they're responsive to you.
And so how did you actually catch him?
There's a couple different ways, and there's tons of videos online on how you can, but that's like one of the few things I don't openly discuss.
Okay, well, skip that question, guys.
Only because it's so federally protected that
Don't want to give that information out.
Yep.
Unless people are serious about it. And,
but it's safe and it doesn't hurt the birds.
Correct.
We'll go with that.
Correct.
Perfect. So, what other kinds of things do you need to be prepared prior to getting your bird besides taking, reading up and getting your sponsor and getting? You said you have to take a test.
Time. You do have to take a test. So back to the steps. Licensed hunter. Find a sponsor in your state, which is hard here in Rhode Island because there's so few falconers, and they're not under any obligation to train you. You gotta like you. They gotta know that you're serious. You gotta be willing to put in the time, and it's a lot of time for them too. So they gotta be willing to put in the time for you. My sponsor is awesome. He's been available whenever I need him.
About how many hours did you put in actually out there in the field before you actually were able to get your first bird?
Oof. I spent 6-7 days trapping, just trapping out in the field, driving around in my car 8-9 hours a day looking for a bird.
With and without your sponsor both, or?
My sponsor came out with me once or twice, but most of the time I was out by myself. When I finally located this guy, he was flying around with his parents and 2 other sibling birds. So there's 4 or 5 of them all circling around, and I said I'm gonna throw the trap out, and if I get one, I get one.
Yeah.
But we had multiple traps going. We had He had a trap, I had a trap, 2 different vehicles. His son was with us. We were all driving all over the place, triangulating with binoculars. It was a lot of fun.
And is it easier, or do you know, to train a female versus a male, or are you allowed to only catch one or the other?
I could have caught either, but you know, it being my first bird, I wasn't picky. This is a male, like I said. My next bird will be a female, definitely, and that's only because I want to have a well-rounded education for my apprenticeship. I want to know the differences in the flight styles, and they are different. Males are smaller. They're called tiercels. Tiercel meaning a third, 1/3. Females are about a third bigger. They tend to be stronger, and they fly very fast, and they dive bomb game. They hit it hard. Usually, sometimes, not usually, but sometimes they'll kill it on impact.
Wow.
Whereas a male, a little more playful, a little more acrobatic. They kind of glide and do their little thing all over the place. I've seen him chase squirrels, spiraling around trees. It's really, really neat. In the wild, mated pairs, the male will do what I just said and push game out into the open, and females just come in and hit it. So they work together.
And once you actually get your bird, do you actually have to register it like you would a dog or any other animal?
Yes. So going back to the steps of getting one, licensed hunter, sponsor. You have to build a pretty decent sized facility to house your bird in. It's called a mew, M-E-W.
And in a minute, I really would love to go up and show that too.
We can walk over there
yeah, okay.
as we're going. We can talk and walk. My mew facility is 8 foot by 8 foot by 8 foot.
And you built this yourself?
I did. I had a lot of help. I came up with 5 or 6 different designs, you know, and I showed my sponsor every single one. He made adjustments and recommendations until I came up with the final draft.
He wants to fly there.
Mine, Cam, who works here, works with me. He helped me build it as well. My girlfriend helped me paint it. A lot of work went into it. About $500, $600 in materials.
I was just going to ask you, even building it yourself, it's not free.
Nope. And I'm sure you remember, but the DEM, Department of Environmental Management, Division of Fish and Wildlife, they have to come out and inspect it.
Oh, did they?
Yep. They also inspect all your equipment and gear, which you have to get all of that prior to catching a bird, obviously. It's a lot, you know, a lot of stuff I made myself. Some stuff you can't, you gotta order. Perches, gloves, these are his anklets and dresses and bells. I made all the leather stuff, but all the bells and stuff I had to order. So there's gear, the mew.
So this isn't just like going to a pet store and saying,
No.
I think I'll have that parakeet over there.
No, not at all. It's difficult for a reason, you know. They don't want just anyone to do it. You've got to be serious. You've got to be willing to put the time in with your animal. It takes a long time. The final step before you get issued a capture permit is to take a test.
Is that a written test?
It's a written test. You have to go in person to the DEM, sit down and take a test there. It's 100-something questions, multiple choice. It's not easy.
And what percentage do you have to get correct?
You have to get above 80, I believe. Not 100% on that. I believe it's 80. I actually took the test twice. Failed the first time.
Wow, so it's not easy.
No. And that's because there was a whole section that I just hadn't prepared for, like 20 questions in the test that I had no idea I needed to understand.
Well, that made you more prepared.
Yeah, it did. It did. And it gave me a glimpse at the test before, you know. So when I went back and took it again the second time, I knew what to expect.
So this is the mews here.
This is the mew. Yep.
Okay.
Very simple. I've got gravel for drainage underneath it, but not inside. The substrate is pine needles and leaves. It keeps the ground alkaline, keeps the mold from growing.
Now, how many birds can you keep in a house?
Just one.
They each have to have their own.
Yep, just one. The water tank is kicked over for now because he's not in here. But if he were in here, that would be his bath pan. He's got several perches. That's where he spends most of his time, as you can see. That's his feeding tray. And days, you know, where it's really cold or if I don't have time, I'll just come and open that tube from the back and throw food in there on the table and he'll come in and grab it.
Nice. And what was this for?
That's his bath.
Okay.
His bath pan. They need to be able to bathe and they need regular access to water. If he were in here, I would have flipped that over and, you know, put like 5-6 gallons of water in there. You kind of want a double door system. Mine's pretty simple. I just use a tarp. and that's to prevent light. You know, birds, raptors at least, they don't have cognitive reasoning like humans do, so they don't recognize time. Their idea of day and night is the presence or the absence of light. So when I open that door with that tarp still being there, it's still dark. He doesn't try and bolt, you know, it still keeps him calm.
So, are hawks, are they nocturnal?
No, owls are though.
Okay.
Owls are, and that's one of the 4 classifications of raptors: is eagles, owls, falcons, and hawks. And owls are horrible falconry birds because they hunt at night. Humans have a very hard time seeing at night, and in most states, I believe it's illegal to hunt at night.
Okay, then.
Maybe even all of them. Now, that's not to say that you can't be a falconer and own an owl. You're going to have a very, very difficult time hunting with them. Eagles, same thing. Depending on your area, require a lot of space.
And
They're
depending
big.
on the type of eagle? so
Yep, they're big. They'll come and they'll scoop a dog or a cat right out of your yard, or even a very small child. So being an eagle hunter is a huge responsibility. It's very awesome.
Is that something you think you might ever do?
Someday. For now, though, I'm a huge fan of my hawks. And